Warramimiri ga budgerina wunya. Yugunaya Wabakul Murawa. Hello friend, good to see you. Today I'm on a Wabakul country. Today I'm going to have a bit of a rant. We've all seen it on Facebook over the last week or two. Is people jumping up and down because Glasshouse Mountain's been closed. Well, Big Red and Little Red in particular. Now, look, I'm all for stopping the closure of our tracks. I'm all for protecting the tracks, looking after them and trying to keep them open for everyone to use. From what I've come to find out though, that Glasshouse Mountain is much like our state forest here in New South Wales, owned and operated by Forestry Corp. Now, I believe that area is operated by HQ Plantations, and they've put up a post on their Facebook page and whatnot explaining why they've closed it down. And I'm going to read that out to you now. Okay, so HQ Plantations said, track rehabilitation works, Beerburrum. Important rehabilitation works have commenced at Twins logging area, including tracks locally known as Big Red and Little Red, and surrounding areas. The rehabilitation works are to address two significant issues: minimising soil erosion and effects of off-site runoff on water quality in the Ramsar protected Pumice Stone Passage catchment, to provide safe access for fire protection and operational use. These tracks have been severely damaged by major rainfall events and intensive four-wheel drive recreation, and pose significant safety risk for all users as indicated by recent events. Now, I believe this was due to a rollover that was shared all over social media. From what I've come to find, that rig shouldn't have been on the bloody road anyway. It was massively illegally modified. He's probably one of those guys that will jump up and down when he gets defected too. While we are supportive of responsible recreation within our forest, the prime purpose of the roads and track network is to support forest management activities. In particular, it is crucial for both HQP and other fire response agencies to be able to safely access the track network for wildfire response to protect the broader community and our forests. Now, from what they're saying there, it seems completely understandable to me as to why they've closed it off. You know, they closed it off so that they can do work in the area and that these tracks can be accessed. Now, I know people online have turned around and said, oh, but you put boulders in front of it so nobody can access it, not even you guys. Well, it wouldn't be hard for them to move these boulders if they need to. And yeah, it appears that they have done so. But maybe they've put it in place because, much like Forestry Corp here in New South Wales, it's an active logging area. You know, has anybody stopped to think about that? It doesn't seem that way. Being that it's an active logging area, maybe they're closing off this section for 6 months, 12 months, whatever it is, while they log in the area, while they do the works that they need to do, and they've put these boulders into place to try and stop the public getting into an area which may pose risk not only to themselves, but to the workers in the area. So, look, I think effectively what they've done, for starters, it is well within their rights. But, you know, people are jumping up and down about it without knowing any of the truth. Now, I don't know all the facts either. You know, I haven't researched, I haven't reached out to them, I don't know all the facts. But I do know with forestry here in New South Wales and in our state forests, they will close off areas temporarily while they carry out works in that area. And they stop the public from accessing them. And then once they've finished their works, they reopen it and everybody can go through. Others are jumping up and down, oh, you've now destroyed 2 Australian iconic tracks because they've come through with graders and fill and whatever else and they've levelled out the tracks. Well, from what I can see in the photos, yes, they have done that. But after a few heavy rains again, a lot of that will start washing away, and once the four-wheel drives do get back into there, I'm sure it'll get chewed up in no time. In reality, that track in 2 years' time might be back to pretty much the same way it was a couple of months ago. And as I've said, I am all for trying to keep our tracks open and accessible to the public. But when it comes to a corporation like HQ Plantations, Forestry Corp, things like that, when they need to close an area to carry out works, that's completely and utterly fine with me, because they do tend to reopen them. National parks, on the other hand, not so much. They'll carry out the works and they do tend to keep them locked up, unfortunately. So it's national parks that do cause a lot of the problems, and why so many people are getting up in arms. Now, apparently this same sort of proposed track closures is happening down in the Victorian High Country. Look, I don't know the full story on that, so I'm not really going to comment on it. Now the part that frustrates me is these people jumping up and down and whinging and moaning, oh, you're closing off all our tracks without knowing any of the facts. But then a lot of these people that are doing it are the same ones that are destroying the tracks, that are out there with rigs, spinning tyres, rolling their vehicles, things like that. Now, 4-wheel drive 24/7, they're one of the ones that I've seen this posted a lot by, and they're probably the largest online influencer in the 4-wheel drive industry. They have posted about their disgust over it, and they're trying to get people to join forces and, you know, do massive protests and whatever else. They're trying to organise all that apparently. And just in general, they're fueling the hate for bodies of authority such as Forestry Corp, HQ Plantations and national parks. Not to mention also, at times, the police. Now the worst part of it all is some of the responses they get in their comment section. So I'm going to read a couple of different comments out to you. Some of them I believe are good, some of them not so much. But I'll read a couple out to you and you can make your own opinion on whether you think they're good or bad. Now here's a couple of comments I do quite like. 4x4 CAA. Seems pretty normal to me. We've had a few tracks in WA gated because of the exact same reasons. It's an access road. No story here. In response to that, you got Loopy 4, common sense really, but then again, following on, the not special people. Mostly driven by cars that shouldn't be driven on public roads anyway. Well, again, when I mentioned the person that did the rollover, you look at their vehicle, probably half of their tyres from what I saw were poking out the sides. From what I can understand, they also had illegal lift and modifications as well. So yeah, exactly that, driven by vehicles that shouldn't be on public roads anyway. Next one, Intrepid Overland. Good bloke. The irony of self-entitlement and actions without consequence. Now, that to me leads to the point that so many carry on, it's public land, we should be able to access it. Well, it's not public land. It's actually owned and operated and managed by HQ Plantations. They're just allowing us access, same as Forestry Corp here in New South Wales are allowing us access to their land. And then we have comments like this. Now, I'm not going to mention the name of this person, but comments like, wait till I rock up with 37s. I'll make the track good again. Why do you think they're closed in the first place? Well, people modify their vehicles, put larger tyres on, lockers, all this sort of stuff, so that it makes it easier for them to get through a location without having to spin tyres and without having to rip places up. One of the comments I did see, and this is the first comment, or that I'm seeing anyway, as a reply. Do a couple rear-wheel drive runs. She'll be sweet, mate. This is the stupidity that causes all the track damage and then causes places like national parks to put permanent gates up. That's the reason. That's the attitude. And another comment, one that I won't mention the name of. Barricade is a strong word. We prefer newly installed step-ups. And then in response to that one, that's how they stay closed and get proper gates. A couple of new step-ups, let's just drive over them. So unfortunately, this is some of the stupidity that's going on with our 4-wheel drive industry. And Mad Matt shared a video a while back about influencers killing the 4-wheel drive community. And I really believe that some of them are, especially some of these larger ones. Now, I've made it no secret, especially on social media, that I don't like 4-wheel drive 24/7. I like Graham's off-grid stuff with Stephen Harley because he's out there and he's exploring and Graham is passionate about our country. But the stuff that I see Sean doing and some of the others is absolutely ridiculous. And in fact, they shared a video a while back of a track near Glasshouse Mountains where I saw Sean, I believe he was in the Dirty 30, which is twin-locked with big 35-inch tyres or whatever, massive suspension lift and whatnot. And as far as I'm aware, it's all done legally. But I saw him going up this hill and he was spinning tyres the entire way up that track. But then Graham in the D-Max with what I think he's got 33s and a 2-inch lift and a stock rear locker walked up that hill behind him, as did every other vehicle following Graham up. So Sean's gone up there spinning tyres the entire way, yet Graham can go up there and do it in a relatively stock vehicle without a problem. As I mentioned earlier, people upgrade their vehicles and then put bigger tyres on and lockers and all that sort of stuff to be able to drive these tracks easier without causing damage. People like Sean are going there and just going full noise and full send and spinning the crap out of their tyres and causing the damage. And that's the sort of influence that some influencers, not just 4-wheel drive 24/7, but some influencers are having on the public, especially newcomers, and they're thinking to themselves, well, this is how I need to drive. And then they get out into the tracks, they rip them to the shithouse, and then they're the first ones, as we're seeing right now, up in arms complaining about track closures. All right, guys, I'd like to hear your opinions on this, so drop a comment below. Tell me what you think about track closures, in particular this incident here with Little Red and Big Red. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know, do you think HQ Plantations have done the right thing to protect their staff and workers and to be able to operate in the area to protect the bush? Or do you think it's absolute disgusting that they've done it? And look, as I've said before, guys, I'll stand up any day of the week and I'll try and support tracks being kept open, but I also support industry, personally, I'll support industry that need to close them off for purposes that they see fit. But I like to see the fact that they do get reopened like they do here with Forestry Corp New South Wales. So, alright guys, that's it for me. Yamma Bujiri Murugu. Walk a good path. Yanu, goodbye.